If you would have told me 5 years ago, right before I got my job with Subway, that this is where it was going to lead, I never would have believed you. And if you would have told me 10 years ago, while I was in the midst of doing all of the Subway fan club activities for no money, just with my friends as this goofy thing we did, I would have said you were crazy. And if you would have told me where I was going to end up 15 years ago, before I even set foot inside a Subway restaurant, I never would have thought that my life was going to somehow be involved with a brand. I am Big Mike Sangiamo. I am the captain of the Subway Street Team, inventor of the Feast, keeper of Subman, and self-proclaimed Subway's biggest fan. I was first brought to Subway by two of my friends after a Yankee game. And I was 15 years old, and I had never been to it, but my friend had been telling me about it. They make great sandwiches, and you're going to love it. And, you know, it was a great experience, great day, great memory. And I think in a lot of ways that that was what Subway meant to me. It was this place where friends got together. And I think that really helped when we decided to form the fan club based off of that, because it was all based on this memory of friendship, friends getting together. You know, it might have been a little weird, a little quirky, but it was our thing that we did, and we thought it was pretty cool. The idea for a fan club really came about as a way to keep that group of friends from high school together. You know, so we graduated high school in '97, and all these great friendships that I had formed, I didn't want to lose them. So we came up with the idea of doing organized events at Subway. So everybody else would go out to a bar or a nightclub or something, and we would go to Subway. And I realized that sounds kind of strange, but for us, it was cool. And I guess we were kind of like the Losers Club, but, you know, hey, it was our club and we were passionate about it. So it's becoming more serious, it's becoming more professional. Everybody that's in the club is getting older and more mature, and they're getting into careers and starting their lives and stuff. And at this time, actually, I was going to school to become a funeral director, believe it or not. And I was doing that on the side. I was doing Subway fan club stuff. And I had made it known to Subway that my goal was to meet and shake the hand of the CEO of the company, Fred DeLuca. So I had this event in 2004 in the spring, and I make that goal known to everybody at the place, including some people from Subway. And literally 2 weeks later, I get a phone call, and it's an invitation to meet Fred in Brooklyn when he'll be running with the Olympic torch. So I get all excited. June 9th, 2004, I drive down to the Subway in Brooklyn, find parking spot. It was amazing. And I'm standing in the restaurant waiting for Fred to show up. Fred pulls up, and he's totally like a rock star around Subway people because they know him. I mean, he's a billionaire, but no one else knows who he is unless you're from Subway. And he comes through the restaurant, makes a beeline to me in front. Everybody's behind him. Walks up to me, puts out his hand, and says, "Fred DeLuca." I said, "Mike Sangiamo." He said, "Nice. I've heard a bunch about you." I said, "I've heard a lot about you too." And he asked, "I just have one question for you. Why?" And I told him because Subway captured this passion that no other brand could have, and people who like Subway don't just like it; they love it. So after that meeting, that really had a significant impact on my life. I realized that what I was going to school for probably wasn't what I was supposed to do. So when it came time to apply for jobs, I applied for jobs at Subway as well as funeral homes. And I was going to take whatever came first. And I guess it's just fate that Subway was the first to call. So Subway calls, and I'm working for Subway. And they put me in this position in Long Island as the director of local marketing and promotions, a job that I didn't really think I was qualified for, considering my degree was in mortuary science, but they thought I was qualified for it because of my background starting the fan club. So what I brought to this role was a completely unique perspective, the perspective of one of their customers. So I start doing all these things to get them noticed on the street, doing a lot of store events, getting out there and trying to get recognized. And that entire first year was kind of like a whirlwind, but it all culminated at a dinner with Jared Fogle. So I'm at this dinner with the Subway guy, and it was very exciting. I'm there with my boss and Jared and a couple of his friends, And me and Jared just hit it off. We had a really good connection. We are almost the same age. We are into a lot of the same things. So we had a lot of fun that night. And one of the things that I decided to do was tell the table my story, the idea of creating a sandwich for Subway. I had this idea for a couple of years at that point, and I told them I had this idea to invent a sandwich for Subway, and everybody at the table loved it. In fact, my boss loved it so much that 2 weeks later, he put the sandwich on his menu. And I was completely blown away. And I didn't know he could do that, but he told me, it's only a dream until you wake up and realize it. So he put it on his menu, one restaurant. He said, let's test it. We tested it. Subway liked it. And 1 year, 11 months, and 1 day later, the feast went national. Aside from all the really cool, unique experiences I've had since working for Subway, as a result of working with Subway, really I think my takeaway is more about the lessons I've learned doing this. One of them being that the story continues to write itself every day, and I never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So the story is never over. We're still going. And the last thing that I always say that I live my life by, some people say that you can't have your cake and eat it too. Well, I don't believe that. In fact, I live my life by the motto, have two cakes and eat them both. Because if I can do everything I have done, anything is possible.